thank you so much. It's wonderful to be with you to celebrate Sophia Institute's 22nd anniversary. Oh my God, it's just like a miracle. And to be here at beautiful 20 South Battery. Again, I want to thank Dr. Jack Schaefer for his gracious and generous support of Sophia Institute. Jack, I hope you can hear this. So let's all thank Jack. Some of you know Jack, you're friends with Jack, so you can share that we've said this. It was very moving for me to work with Stephen Traver, who's holding a camera over here, for us to create this video for you, to find the archival clips, to find the much younger me, and remember the her in me who said the things you heard her say, and Sue Monk Kidd and the younger Sue, and the things that she agreed to work with as one of our first members of our first board members, and to find these clips because we really wanted to say this is a mission and vision we've been holding for 22 years. And we never believed the mission and vision would be done in a year or 10 years or 20 years. I mean, we knew it was a timeless mission and vision because we're at that pivotal time in human history where so potential for transformation is really in front of us. And we wanted to invest in that potential for a transformation that has love at the center of it. What a bold, bold, bold vision and mission. And I've had the pleasure of having many wonderful board members, a lot of whom are in this audience today, not serving currently, although many of our current board members are, and people who've been serving years in the past. Let's thank them for all the contributions they make to Sophia Institute over time. They've helped us as we've developed the thousands of workshops and seminars and series and special events that chronicle Sophia Institute's work. That's an iteration of the vision and mission as we continue to develop it and expand it and bring it back to you over and over again. So we want to thank the board members, as I just did, but we want to thank you who are not board members, who are supporters and participants, for your being with us. I mean, this is the work we do, and we do it for you. And many of you have been here attending things for years and years, and some of you have just found us. And sometimes you say to us, gee, I wish I'd known Sophia Institute existed in our community. I just didn't know. And then we have people from all 50 states and over 16 countries internationally joining us. So that's amazing to us, and an extraordinary faculty. You've witnessed them in the videos, just some of them. There are many others that we didn't show you tonight. But they're people that are award-winning authors and teachers and thought leaders, people whom we love working with, and people whose work we know to be deeply authentic. And then I just want to add, I'm moved by you all, you who have made the deep commitment in your own journey to cultivate your gifts and capacities and bring them back to your relationships, to your workplace, and to our community to make it all a better, viable, love-filled, wisdom-based community of connection. We've been saying for a long time that we're living in a time of profound transformation, as you're hearing on the video and through Caroline. And sometimes we refer to it as a breakdown for the breakthrough of a new consciousness, one that carries the feminine and joins with the masculine. And out of that union, a consciousness is forming that is more just and compassionate, more wise and loving, one that activates the gifts and capacities in each of us so we can do the very thing that we're most called to do. There's something about that in my way of thinking that makes it a little easier. I don't have to do it all. I just have to do what I'm called to. But I have to know what that is. And I have to take the deep dive, the inner work that leads to that knowledge. So we say now, we learn just in the last year or two that we're living in the sentient universe. Evidence-based science now is substantiating what the wisdom traditions have been telling us for a long time. So you saw the wisdom convocation that I was so happy to convene back in February, which we will go into phase 2 of in June, with Dr. Jean Houston, Dr. Jude Currivan, and Dr. Anne Baring from UK. Dr. Jude Curvin is a world-class scientist. And after being an entrepreneur in UK for 20 years at the top of the UK entrepreneurship, so to say, she went back to study at Oxford quantum physics. And that took her on a deep dive into the world of science, where the world of science of consciousness and science of cosmology now are interconnecting and are the fields bringing this evidence-based knowledge of a sentient universe that holds love and wisdom and sources us with that love and wisdom. It's fascinating. It's even hopeful. At this very time of the breakdown for the breakthrough, there is that understanding that we can also connect with. And that feels to me very hopeful. That can guide us into understanding how to traverse what we're going through. So Sophia Institute works out of a principle really of wholeness, where the sacredness of the feminine is in unity with the masculine. It's the rise of the feminine, yes, but to be in unity with the masculine. And we ground our work in action, our principles in action in the world, action we call love in action. So injustices, rather, whether to people or to the planet, are really being seen now. And during the pandemic, they really rose for us to see very closely. And folks are answering the call to address them, to make a difference, as I said, when doing so is so essential now. So in addition to the core work that I've been talking about with you and that Caroline talked about and that you saw in our video, you saw a little of this on the video. We convened an initiative after the horrific massacre at Mother Emanuel 7 years ago in 2016, and we call that initiative Social Justice, Racial Equity Collaborative. Many of you know it well. And the gap piece that we identified is truth, racial healing, and transformation. So SJREC's work is advised in advance by co-chairs, by a leadership team, by council, and by engagement partners. And we've been working for truth, racial healing, transformation all these 7 years, both through our Living Your Truth forums, community forums, 17 of those that we've held in various places like Mother Emanuel Church, Mount Zion, AME, and other places around town, duet dialogue formats where people talk about their lived experience of racism and their vision for racial equity. We engaged Dr. Gail Christopher. You saw her briefly on our video. She's the chief architect for the Work for Truth, Racial Healing, Transformation in America. We formally call that Truth and Reconciliation work. She studied what South Africa had done and modified it and changed it and expanded it to be appropriate for America. When we learned that, we invited ourselves to consult with her and to bring that work to Charleston, and she agreed to it. She's a remarkable woman. She's trained our staff, our staff, but also our council and our leadership team and our facilitators for truth and racial healing circles, which we are now cascading across Charleston and have been doing so for the last 2 years. So that's exciting work for us, work we're very committed to. We're escalating what we're learning now in this unprecedented time about ways of living and being, new ways of living and being on our earth, about how to advance our consciousness, do our part to cultivate a wisdom society for our world in transformation, committed to the understanding that we need to invest in it to achieve it. Work that's good for all people and good for the planet, and cultivating the potential for humanity to make transformative change that will benefit our children, our grandchildren, and future generations. So this is what our vision is, a vision for the 21st century. The Sophia Institute is doing our part to cultivate a world that could be called a wisdom society, a 21st century, as Lynn Twist said, that could be called the Sophia century. Sophia means divine wisdom in the ancient Greek. A conscious, egalitarian world, a compassionate and just global community where wisdom and love are at the center of life. There'll be what we call the conscious feminine and masculine in the psyche of women and men. So as we face new challenges in a world in transformation, we're dedicated to the vision that we can create, invest in, and create a more just, regenerative, spiritually fulfilling world for all people, a world in transformation that expresses the vastness of the human potential. So much of that available to us to realize. So, in conclusion, let me say that thanks to you, our spring celebrations each year raise what we need to cover our general operating cost. We're poised now to address the unprecedented time to continue our pivot to hybrid work. Believe me, producing people from across the country and in the room is brand new work for us and requires a lot of expertise. And you can help us, if you'd like, to invest in that expertise. To fund our pivot to this hybrid work, the in-person and virtual offerings, as I've said, to continue the virtual series. You saw a snippet of those. Those are 3-part series. They're about an hour and a half in length. They're introduction to the work and give us a great way to introduce our community to new faculty, and you saw a sampling of that. So to continue those series, and then to offer on-demand courses. There are courses that sometimes people miss, but they'd like to have access to it. And on-demand courses give us that access. To continue working with these leading-edge thought leaders and spiritual teachers that you've seen in our video and you've witnessed with Caroline tonight, and many of you know firsthand. This is our core work. To provide scholarships for all those for whom tuition is a barrier. We don't want those barriers. To support program expansion centered around social justice, racial equity, collaborative. This is our time, our opportunity, our great privilege to do our part to help usher in transformative change, and the change the world needs now, a more socially just, environmentally sustainable, awakened human presence on this planet. We invite you to join us in support of that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carolyn, and thank you for the incredible work that has been done here. And this is what is needed to be sustained. This is why your gifts and treasures are so needed to be able to sustain this work. You've heard about the impact that we've made. You've heard about the heightened consciousness that has been raised. The time is pivotal for this work. It's actually coming into focus for a lot more people than 21 years ago when you started this, 22 years ago now. We are doing really important work in social justice and racial equity, and also just raising the consciousness for all of us to make this world a better place for those future generations. You know that Sophia Institute is a 501c3 organization, but it's also a social profit organization. Tuition just covers about half of the cost, so it really does rely on the philanthropy, the love of mankind to be able to support the work. We use this opportunity to encourage you to support, sustain, embellish, and enhance the work that we're doing, and we really do want you to consider how you can make that work. Every one of you, and those of you online, are in different phases of life and different capacities that you might have for giving. So we want you to think about how you personally can make a difference. As with every decision, it's always voluntary, so it's certainly not a requirement for you to do this, but I do hope that you take this opportunity to consciously devote the resources that are needed based on your own capacity to be able to do that. So I want to ask the table host if you can provide your guests with the information that are in your bags at your table. And on the video, we want to be able to show a QR code for both the people here in the garden, but also the people at home. This will take you to the giving page at the Sophia Institute's website. And what I want to do is walk you through how you can see yourself in supporting this work going on. We know many people in this room, online, and throughout the country have supported the Sophia Institute, and we want to encourage you to continue to do so at any level that you feel comfortable with. Some are supporting at the Renaissance Circle. If you see down there, the Renaissance Circle at $20,000 per year, a one-time gift. You could do that monthly, break that up into monthly contributions, however you most feel comfortable in supporting this work, but knowing that you're strengthening the organization, you're allowing this critical organization to continue. Then there's the Visionary Circle at $10,000, and many in this room actually contribute at that level today, and we really appreciate that support. That is so important. Going up to the Wisdom Circle at $5,000. You can see the Unity Circle at $2,500. You can make these gifts a one-time gift. You can make them on a monthly recurring basis, and you can continue that for 1, 2, 3 years or ongoing. I actually have set it up myself to contribute on a monthly basis so that I can continue that without even thinking about it. It just automatically happens every month. I don't have to worry about writing a check. It's there. And it's the way that I can do it best. We also can invite you to consider investing in other ways of giving, investing in real estate or in stock transfers. These are other ways to give. And I'm going to put that real estate out there because I know long-term, having a permanent home for the Sophia Institute would be divine, would be absolutely beautiful for the work of this organization. So I want to encourage you to consider all that you're doing that, making those contributions, and you can turn those back into your table host tonight. You can also just do it online here with this QR code or going to the website, thesophiainstitute.org, and you'll see where the gifts are encouraged there. So I want to thank you all for everything that you've done, everything that you have been able to contribute time-wise and money-wise to allow this organization to continue. And I want to see this organization that is going to be as needed a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and well into the future, even after we have all passed and our children and our children's children can really help to make this world what it's meant to be, and that is the love, the power of love.